Hello and welcome to the Fast Financials demo video for purchase order processing. We start in the Purchase Order Processor Role Center, which gives you an overview of all your business activities. We are going to start by looking at our supplier account by going to our list of vendors and open a vendor card. From here, we can set up the standard email addresses for different types of documents, including setting up multiple email addresses. We can see that all documents are set up to email to a specific email address, with alternative options for hard copy and fax. This supplier also has purchase orders set up to email to another address. Drilling down into purchase orders, we can see the status of different orders for this vendor. Looking at the open order, we can see the document number as well as the supplier detail. We can put in a supplier reference, such as a quote number for example. Looking at the lines, we can put in new lines. If we are using inventory, we can select items and thus look up part numbers. The more information that we put in, the closer the match. The line allows you to select the warehouse that you want it to go to, as well as the quantity. The system has picked up the price and any discount that is currently available. For non-stock parts, we can put in GL codes and add the information in the same way. If required, insert some pre-set up standard text options, or even enter free text. The system then calculates a total for the document. On the Shipping Fast tab, we can specify the ship to address, either to the default or to an alternative address. The value of this order is of a higher value than the user's approval limit, so on sending the approval request to submit the document, the system notifies us that further approval is required, and this has gone into a queue for approval by the manager. We are now going to look at drop shipments. For example, there is a demand from a customer that requires a delivery direct to them. Searching for the sales order, we can find the record. There is a code here to show that the item will be shipped direct to the customer. We have also specified the customer's delivery details. This is a release sales order, so it can be seen by the purchasing system. Going to the Requisition Worksheet, we can see the drop shipment worksheet specifically for these items. Here we are looking for a drop shipment, so clicking on the drop shipment button, put in any filters that are required, such as particular customers and items. The sales order that we have been looking at has now come through. The system states which vendor that the items need to be purchased from, and that we need to purchase them. Clicking on the Carry Out Action message button and then clicking OK automatically creates the purchase order. Looking at purchase orders, we can view the order with the drop shipment details. On the purchase order, there is a link to the sales order. And likewise, the sales order is linked to the purchase order. We are now going to receive the goods against the purchase order and invoice it. Going to the purchase order, we can see our line for the 25 items. There are several columns here: the quantity to receive, quantity received, which is the actual number that we have received, quantity to invoice, and quantity invoiced. For this demonstration, we are going to receive 15 of this item. If we are in the warehouse, we would just click Receive to allow finance to invoice at a later stage. Clicking OK books those 15 items into stock. Going to the item card, we now have 15 on inventory, and drilling through we can see the ledger entry. There are now 10 left on the purchase order. That takes us through to the purchase order line. If we now have the invoice for this, we can put in the supplier invoice number, and the system states that we have received 15 and that they are £10 each. As long as the invoice shows the correct value, we can post the invoice. If the invoice value is different, then we can change the unit cost to suit the invoice. On posting the invoice, there are now 15 received and 15 invoiced. On the Navigate button, we can see the receipts and the invoices. For receiving the final 10 units, we will look at how to post an invoice for multiple purchase orders. First, receive the 10 units. The full value is received, and going into Receipts, we can see the 2 lines for the 2 receipts. Then, going to Purchase Invoices and creating a new document, we can choose the supplier, enter the document date, and input the invoice number. Using the function to get receipt lines will show us all of the purchase receipt lines from that supplier that are still not invoiced. The lines have been brought through as per the outstanding quantity. If there are multiple receipt lines for a vendor, we can select the lines that we would like to put against the document. Clicking OK brings in the item line for us, with the receipt number for reconciliation. We can then post this document in the normal way. For creating a new purchase order, we can use the Copy Document function to save time on inputting data. We can copy any document from the purchase side of the system, including orders, invoices, and posted documents. Here, we will copy a posted invoice, selecting the document that we want to copy from. There are options to copy the header and recalculate the lines for the latest pricing. All of the details have been brought in. However, the quantities and details can still be changed as required. From here, we can perform all of our processes in the same way as usual. The functionality is the same throughout NAV. So for example, we can create a purchase invoice from a copied document, or even raise a credit memo. As with all of NAV, you have the benefit that everything works in a similar way, making it easy to learn and use. And that concludes our overview of purchase order processing. Please contact us if you have any further questions.